Hi there, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about online networking groups for freelancers. So, if you're a freelancer looking to be more informed, whether you're looking for tips on finding your next freelancing gig, looking to learn more about the latest trends in your specific niche field, or if you're simply looking for a chance to collaborate with other people who do things similar to what you do or aspire to do, networking is one of the most powerful tools you can use. Now, when people think of networking, they often picture in-person events or awkward small talk at conferences. Well, that is definitely one way to network. It is not the way that I have chosen to network. Instead, I choose to do something that's often overlooked: online networking groups. These groups have played a huge role in helping me stay connected to the field, learn from others, and yes, actually find some of the roles that I've had. Now, if you're wondering about these online networking groups, they're just spaces that are usually hosted on platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn, or Slack, where professionals with shared interests gather to ask questions, share opportunities, swap advice, and sometimes even collaborate on projects. What's great about them is how accessible they are. You don't have to fly in for a conference or carve out time for coffee meetings. You can just pop in between your tasks when it's convenient for you, during your lunch break or late at night in your pajamas. And you'll find that because these groups are often organized around a specific niche, you're connecting with people who get what you do. This alone can be a game changer, especially in a field like freelancing, which sometimes tends to be a bit isolating depending on what kind of freelancing you do. So, as I mentioned, there's multiple places to find these communities. I've personally had the most luck on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Slack. I also know that there are other communities. Discord, for instance, I've used that for some non-work networking groups, for hobbies and things like that. But there are many platforms. But I think that Facebook, LinkedIn, and Slack, you're bound to find something that aligns with you. And of course, each platform has its strengths. I feel like Facebook groups tend to be large because of the popularity of Facebook, but they're also usually very active and conversational once you find a good group. You definitely will have to take some time to see if the groups are really what you're looking for. Now, LinkedIn groups are a bit more formal, but they're great for visibility and credibility. And I've found that I've learned about a lot of my Slack groups, which I'll get to next, on LinkedIn. So sometimes LinkedIn can act as a venue for finding groups on another platform. So Slack groups. These are much more real time. They're like virtual co-working spaces where you can engage in deeper, ongoing threaded discussions. But a note about Slack. Finding these communities can be a little trickier than just typing them in a search bar. They're usually not browsable like the groups on Facebook or LinkedIn where you type in a keyword and you find what you're looking for. As I mentioned, you'll probably have to learn about the Slack groups associated with your niche through another platform like Facebook or LinkedIn. Then you can get an invitation link to join and join the groups. So I would definitely start looking for that if you haven't noticed. Now, if you're a freelance learning professional like me, I do have specific groups that I would recommend for instructional design, learning and development leadership, or just freelancing in general. If you have another niche, you'll probably want to look for comparable groups relating to your specialty. Now, if I covered all the groups that I have joined, we would be here for a very long time. So I'm going to share my top groups with folks in case any of you are also associated with L&D. One of them that I would recommend is ID Lance. It's great for freelance instructional designers. They share information, they send out newsletters, they have guest speakers, and people are very active in the chat. Another similar one is the L&D Collective. They talk about all things related to learning and development. Yet another one is ONILP. I know, it's quite an acronym. It stands for Our Network in L&D Professionals, and they're supportive, they're inclusive. They also have great information shared on that site. And then there's TLDC. That focuses on daily conversations, live events, and community learning. They are all very similar in some ways. You'll see many people in common on these chats and that they've joined more than one of them, but great communities. And then over on Facebook, I've also found a few gems. Two in particular that stand out are the Instructional Designer Group. This is one of the largest and most active communities that I've joined. It's full of people sharing what they know, or people asking questions and getting answers from people who have a lot of expertise. So even if you're sort of quiet and on the sidelines like I am, it's a very informational group. I know that a lot of people do get job leads from that group also. And then there's the Instructional Design Discussion Group. This one's a little smaller, but it does have great conversations and a thoughtful community. So one thing that I most appreciate about these communities, especially the Slack-based ones, is that many of them host free events on a regular basis. Some offer weekly discussion sessions, others host weekly or monthly webinars on topics that relate to the topics of the group, and bring in guest speakers from the field. So I went to one last week that I thought was absolutely fabulous. It's free and you can go, and it's a great learning experience. I'd highly recommend looking for something like this. Whether you're a seasoned freelancer or whether you're just getting started, there's always something to learn. You know, and I'll admit, I'm not super active in the day-to-day conversations in the group, yet I still get so much value out of the information that's shared in attending the various events. They've helped me get inspired, and I have made some connections through them with no pressure to perform. And generally, as I mentioned, most of them are at no cost, at least in these groups. So if you're someone who prefers to observe more than post, you'll still get tons of benefit, although I keep promising myself that I'm going to be more active in the communities. So I would encourage you to be active if you can. I think that you do get more benefits the more active that you are. I know many people have acquired freelance opportunities because they've gotten out there and just shared helpful tips or information within these groups. So if you're not already part of a few online groups, I encourage you to join one or two and just attend an event or, comment on a thread. You'll never know what sort of connection might lead you to your next role or your next passion project to learn about. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you want to stay up to date on these videos, we release 2 a week, then please like and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Thank you.